Sad times for Team Ace currently. They are down 0-2 in this series. They've got 1 life left in this best of 5, and it's not a huge shock that against BlizzCon, BlizzCon, not BlizzCon.
Against the entire BlizzCon? Yes.
Against BlizzCon champions Ballistix. Wow, I'm really fumbling this intro. Can we start over? So, rough times for Ace, down 0-2 in this series against BlizzCon champions of 2016 Ballistix. Not a shock, they would have a struggle, but the fashion in which Ballistix has dominated this series has been pretty frustrating.
Oh yeah, not just pretty frustrating. I think the Ace came here with the mindset, we're going to lose very likely, very likely, but let's learn. Let's try to learn. Let's try to pick up what we need, what we're doing wrong, what we need to work on for the time, because we need to learn things and try to step up every single time when we try have this match. That's what the HGC format is for. You try, even for the lower teams, it's giving them a chance to learn, to experience, and also climb up slowly by slowly. That's what Blossom, as we're going to see Blossom tonight after this match, I think they will actually be the one that after it took a year and then they're back in 2018. I think they will do a lot better.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be the same case for Ace in 2019. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that there's certainly a strong possibility that that can be the case, right? And, you know, I feel like these players have some experience, you know, but not massive amounts. And losing this hard, I think, is one of the things that's, like, it's one of the most important lessons to learn. Because they played an open division, right? They were dominating open division. They got to the top, and that's how they got here. So this is like they've never lost this hard before, okay? And I think that's actually very humbling in a way. It's just like, oh yeah, we just kept practicing just like we practiced in open division. Maybe this is a moment where they realize, well, we need to be practicing even harder. Like, the teams like this exist. And this isn't even the final boss. There's KSV Black, and you know, KSV Black lost to Tempest. So there's other teams they have to face, right? So it's time to. So I think realize where you're at. You can think it in your mind. You can realize, okay, these are world-class teams. But when you face them, when you see them on the battlefield in the Nexus, that's when you realize. Yeah,
you have to really grab onto yourself and to your teammates and think and talk to them and say, okay, this is a lesson, good lesson. We can go learn and let's watch the VOD and lesson what we did wrong. So you have to do that tonight. And we're going into game number 3 with it will be Cursed Hollow. Now everything's in English, so you guys have to. You guys will not ask which map is it, which map is it all the time during draft. That happened for the entire year, but now everything is in English for you guys.
That's right. So, Cursed Hollow, first ban goes to Ace again. The second time in a row they take that. So the map pick of Ballistix, following the trend of top 3 teams against lower bracket teams, facing off against them, picking these maps in this order. Always Dragonshire into Sky Temple into Curse to get the 3-0. It was the way. It has always been the way. Now, Ace, they prioritized Greymane last game. Will they be looking to try to grab this hero again? Or will they go back to comfort picks like Tastar, like you were talking about before? Pair the Tastar with the Sonya. It's tough to argue that game number 2 was an advancement of the draft, that it was better. I feel like it was worse because they broke the tenet we talked about. 1 melee, 1 top laner, 1 solo laner specifically, and taking down here will be the Hanzo ban.
Yes, exactly, because I know at least they are ready for a Genji. So ban Hanzo, get the Genji, take it away from Ballistix, and then start from there. I think that is the best start for them. But I have a feeling that they'll still do a Greymane. Okay, I like this so far, but if they also get the Greymane, that is the best for them, but very likely Ballistix is going to take it away from them.
So we've learned something here too. Ace banned Genji, first ban in both games. Greymane, of course, taken as you mentioned. And they've now chosen him first with the Hanzo ban. This leads us to believe they think Genji is the strongest ranged assassin in the game at the moment. And how they use it, I think, will tell us more about this team. Even if they lose here and drop out 0-3 against, again, 2016 BlizzCon champions, I think that something will be learned, something will be said for how they prioritize heroes. And it was the Tastar, the Sonya, and the Genji that will be remembered in this draft, that we remember next time we cast this team, next time fans watch them and counter them. But how do you empower Genji? Uther was removed. Super smart choice. Not only is Uther very powerful in pair with Genji, but also a strong semi-counter to Genji because of his ability to Hammer of Justice, point-click stun Genji in team fights. It's going to be rough. I think if I am Ace here, I want to grab a Nubarak, remove Uther from the fights, got slow, longer, burst healing, use the Dragon Blade to clean up kills. Take the Anubarak here, 100% win rate so far globally, 7-0. Take the Arthas instead, and they're going back to what they know with Sonya. We'll see if it's Rush playing it this time or Hero in the top lane.
Arthas and Sonya at the same time. I don't think Arthas was the biggest tool for Ballistix. Maybe they were concerning that a lot more than what we were thinking here. But Sonya and Arthas, so this will be a little bit of a weird one again, because Arthas will be off lane this time, as Sonya will be the solo laner.
Lucio ban hovering here. Obviously, Lucio not going to provide protection from CC for Genji, but will definitely help empower him along with Sonya and let Arthas sit in the front line for longer, which can help deal with Greymane for sure. Especially when Greymane dives in, goes into Worgen form. For potentially a Cassia ban, though, so worried more about dive than anything else, knowing that Johanna no longer pickable. They will ban the Cassia. Though I feel like this has to be an Anubarak ban, right? You've already dealt with this CC in choke point so many times. The cocoons that have ruined team fights for Ace, allowed them to take 4v5 fights because of the cocoon. It becomes 4v4, ahead in scaling, ahead in talent tiers. It's such a problem for them. It seems like the obvious choice. Remove this hero again. Globally, 100% win rate, 7-0. Ballistix has used it both maps so far. It's been a bane of your existence. They haven't selected a main tank yet. The choice feels obvious here.
Either that one or ETC when Genji goes in. Those are the main ones I would say that you have to be really scared of. Because you'd have to be... If you're the one making plays, you need to look for that soft counter from the tank line from the side. Anubarak, of course, with so much more CC. That power slide with the mosh pit can be also a crazy thing for the other side. So they will think of in that terms and ban ETC here.
Okay. This means now for Ballistix, a few tough choices to be made, because you can take a really cool approach and ignore the Anubarak here and look for longer teamfight presence with Malthael and take Malthael Tyrael. Very strong comp. They have Uther as well to protect the Malthael. He wins the solo lane matchup against Sonya. Obviously not the best at clearing camps, but you've already got Greymane for that, so you don't need your solo laner to be a camp clearer in this case. You've prioritized the Greymane, so that's definitely a consideration. Alternatively, you take a second DPS that's strong against this type of aggressive melee play, a very long-range assassin with the Anubarak. We don't know what support it's going to be for Ace just yet, but all signs point to Rhaegar. So you could still cocoon a Rhaegar, a little bit more difficult than some of the other melee supports, but I think that's going to be the debate. Is it the Anubarak or is it going to be the Malthael Tyrael? Will be something completely different. Nope, Anubarak. It will be the Tychus long range. Not as massively long range as like a Li Ming, for example, but will be good at breaking down, burning down these frontliners, Arthas and Sonya, just like game one.
They do have enough, and then I think the last one will be just the Haka. That will be just, they'll be just set with the isolation when Genji comes in. If that hat goes on to Genji, Genji's blade will not even pop up, will be silenced, and it will be over for him. So Ace, what are they going to that can empower Genji when he goes in and when Sonya dives in with every CC that they have?
Do they want to rely more on Genji, or do they want to rely on their frontliners with the secondary support? If the answer is relying on Genji, I think you go Rhaegar. Oh, double melee again. They've broken the rules here, G-Clef. Two soul laners, Malthael and Sonya. Sonya unable to roam. Malthael not having protection of any kind outside of Ancestral, which means that who are they not going to be Ancestraling? That's Sonya and Arthas, nor the Genji, who's got a small health pool anyways. This draft seems broken. And it's like putting a square peg into a round hole.
You're trying to... This is tough. If you're breaking the rules, you have to create something, you know? But they're not really creating anything, but just breaking the rules.
Yeah, you have to inspire some sort of new composition or something that the world has never seen before, and based on the faces of Ballistix here, they're probably thinking the same as we are. You could see SC Hooligan laughing here, discussing their final pick. And it's going to be the soul laner, right? So they're thinking, well, Dahaka, he still works here, right? It's going to be tough against either Malthael or Sonya. But maybe they think of something else, maybe something ranged like a Thrall or a Zagara. Medivh. Okay. So this is going to allow a lot of extra protection against burst damage, but
also they can run away with the portal when the dive comes in.
That's true.
And also lots of protection against Sonya when Sonya is trying to do the maximum damage along with Marthea when they... I think this is not the most common one, but I guess we just have to go in and see what they're planning on this.
It's incredibly strong against the melee heavy composition. The only range damage is Genji, which anyone's played Genji knows. It feels like you're half melee anyways. You have a lot of poke, you're a ranged assassin technically, but your real damage in team fights comes from the Dragon Blade, basically melee range. Medivh will do a lot of poke damage in the fight and will whittle down these heroes for Tychus to get the kills later on with Greymane. So Greymane's cocktails plus Medivh poke. We're going to see a lot of team fights where Ace is down half health with all members. And, you know, Medivh should be able to pretty easily finish his Master's Touch quest with that kind of poke. He can also provide a lot of denial on tribute channels. So I really like the pick overall. Is it strong against either soul laner? Well, realistically, they have technically 3 players that could be soul laners with the Arthas in the mix as well, but he's going to be serving main tank. Is it good for the soul lane matchup? No. But is it good for everything else? Yes. And when you've got such a melee heavy comp, I like the Medivh poke here.
It's going to be tough when the double melee comes in. Well, it's going to be super easy for Medivh to actually stack up the Master's Touch, first of all. But when Medivh can also protect and also provide an escape, that's like the ultimate tool the Ballistix is going to have from the beginning until the very end of the game.
That's Medivh in this case against his melee heavy comp, man. He protect, but he also attack.
Medivh is a specialist that... I think Medivh is kind of like a support in a way, but especially because he does not heal, but just protects.
He's not very strong against the damage over time of Malthael, but against the burst damage of Medivh can be strong. But I think it's really just about his poke damage and his delay potential. Just doing so much damage here. Obviously doesn't have Master's Touch yet, so not gaining his stacks from this, but just bullying the lane, forcing Arthas up now. But the big struggle is that, you know, last time we had a similar situation, Zeratul at least can roam quickly, Sonya not so much. We'll get a fast clear here, but look at this. Comparatively, Greymane versus Sonya, clear time is very similar. So you can see how we're going to get a shot of it. In fact, Greymane's faster, obviously, but it's a similar camp time. So what have they gained from the double melee? Sure, Rhaegar has that funny solo matchup in the bot lane right now, and he's doing pretty well there because he's got better wave clear than Uther, but not much else has really been gained on the map. And what is it going to offer in a team fight? Just another target for Ancestral, but isn't the one that you want.
You may actually need both at the same time, and KCB has to choose the right one in the front line that's going to die quicker. Maybe they will just sweep it out from all that damage. I think that's exactly why, because they only have Uther. They can only protect one when Greymane and Tychus.
I like this.
They're going for the gank, but this is a 4v3 and is caught. Gamey will just
okay, so the idea here was really cool.
And they wanted more. Rhaegar does escape.
The idea there was really cool. They wanted to invade with this comp, and they have a strong comp for invading. Unfortunately, they were scouted by Medivh and Raven form, and KCB came up late because he was being greedy in terms of wave clear, or actually probably just trying to deal with those siege giants. That's probably why he came late. Cool idea, execution, and unfortunately being scouted by Ballistix really hurt them there. But maybe we got a glimpse of what this is supposed to do. Like, maybe. Let's wait and see. Because they predicted the timing of this camp very well. Ballistix was slowed down as a result, but did not affect them up here in this top lane. Bot lane is cleared. So neutral tribute spawn. Medivh still one level away from starting that Master's Touch, where his poke is going to become so valuable even to him. But now it's just going to be used to delay this tribute, as we do see the full rotation upwards, all 5 members.
Takes lots of pressure onto Genji because there are so many melee for Ace. Genji has to harass and do all that range damage in order to cancel all that casting lore.
Oop, missed that one. Jonga's gonna have to hit it here. Buying time for that clear for Greymane. Good protection here, but Magi just barely unable to get through the portal. So Greymane stayed to clear mid, and this may backfire a little bit. His first blood, or first kill here for Ace.
Nicely done. He had the armor, but also was protected maybe a little too early. There were lots of CCs and connecting. The burst damage will always be there. So that's the kind of thing that Ace should be looking for in Ballistix. All they have to do is just try to protect the target that's getting all the burst damage. Last time did not work since Uther does not have any escape. But Ace should be looking for those kills.
Well, big rotation down here from Ballistix. Magi's back up now. And this pressure that was granted by SC is so strong in the mid lane. As soon as he saw the death of Magi, he just kept pushing it. So they're going to get a fort out of this. Malthael in the top lane pushing a little bit. Won't be able to do as much. Look at how much damage is already done. Next Tribute is such a great spawn for Ballistix as well. They already knew this. On this current patch, you can see that. One Tribute ahead. Okay, also, they're going to try to hard engage on this. Here comes the portal.
There's a portal and they will just escape. That's exactly what they're going to do all the time.
So the idea was really cool by Ballistix, was punished by Ace in that last Tribute, but now they have everyone together, and it's a good spawn for them. Nice cleanse. And
deflect. Actually deflecting lots of damage, but Genji is the first one to blow up.
And now they have no damage.
Was not the right move. And with the portal, when they're all low, they will just go out and come back and harass again.
So I was talking about these moments where everyone in Ace is going to be at half health. And they're going to be really sad because they can't do anything. They don't have the damage with Genji now that he's dead. To finish anyone off on the side of Ballistix, they have to leave. We're tied up Tributes now. With the respawn coming in very slowly here for Sonya. Ballistix can clear camps faster. Rhaegar's decent at clearing camps, as you can see. He's going to go over there and deal with it with Genji. But plenty of stacks gained. Medivh has done his job. He's bought time for these clears. In this case, helped the team survive and win the fight. Really good portal usage that we're seeing so far from Jungha.
In this map, because Ace got all the picks that they want. They picked too many melees, but they're going in at a small choke point where Medivh can get all those stacks, and also it makes it easier for Hooligan to bring them all up, to line them up and CC everything. That's not the point where you want to fight. Also, ooh, look at this.
Yeah, using portals, how long the duration is, very well coordinated, clearly very well practiced. Now, they don't know necessarily the boss is being taken right now. They might have thought that there was a rotation down out of vision to sort of collapse on them for this rotation. But it's actually a pretty smart move by Ace to boss here. Pre-10, they get the boss. Medivh comes over to scout, a little bit too slow. They're going to trade bosses pre-10, which means they don't take a boss fight. And that was, I think, the smartest decision Ace has made in this series. Taking a bad situation with that collapse in the bot lane, with how long it took to get the pick onto Malthael, they used that time to rotate to the boss. With the comp they have, they were able to clear it. Very well done. Yep. Unfortunately, it's not going to gain them anything, but it makes it worse than taking a fight at their boss.
They will get some experience when they take down these walls, and plus a little bit more master touch finish. He's done. 631.
631. They're walking right into it, not really trying to counterplay it. Easier said than done. It's something you don't always think about. When you're the Medivh player, you're thinking, oh, wow, this is a sick situation. I'm going to get so many stacks. But as the opposing team, you're not always thinking about that, not counterplaying it. So that's done. So you no longer have to worry about dying and losing those stacks.
And also Uther picks Divine Storm once more because there are lots of melee coming in. I think it makes him easier actually to lock them down when they come in at the same time.
Yeah, he doesn't have to chase them. They come right to him. We see the track and drill too, which is also very good against melee because you just target down whoever, focus whoever is trying to dive too far. And it synergizes well with both Cocoon and Leyline Seal.
Yeah, you can also block the way. You can also block the small choke points where they try to cross because the laser is way too big to go around. Sometimes that becomes a good factor into the team fight. Let's see how Ace handles this. We don't see any crazy things coming out from Ace.
Just rotating up here to grab this camp. Boss does go down finally in the bot lane. They save their keep. Grab this, try to contest now that they have 10. Now a single heroic has been used for Ballistix. They need to make sure they don't group up too much or they're going to get destroyed by Leyline and CC's coming from a Nubarok. Problem is there's so much poke for Ballistix, they have almost none. They have to dive in, that's when Divine Storm is going to do so well. Not even an opportunity with the grab here with Howling Blast, not onto the tank. No protection for Witcher to pop off with Tormented Souls. Oh god, this is a bad situation.
For now. Cleanse did not help him. Did not save him yet. There's a Cocoon, there's a laser, they're going down.
There's the storm. Perfect choice of heroic here against this melee comp. Malthael do what he can, but I mean, it's just not going to matter.
The moment that Hero decided to dive in was already the end of the team fight. I literally think that you should just not go in and try to survive and just go to other lane and try to push the other lane at least when things like this happen.
Gamey just getting caught there was the beginning of the end too. Like, I mean, there were a lot of things that went wrong in that fight, but we wondered, would we be inspired by this composition? Would we learn something? We saw, I think, one glimpse of perhaps what they wanted to try to do to invade with a 3-man to try to hit that night camp. They got spotted by Raven for Medivh, and it was a mistake from that moment on, or it looked like a mistake from that moment on, obviously, even though it was a good idea in theory. But otherwise, this comp hasn't looked better to me than a traditional comp that has one solo lane or one melee. The double melee without any synergy with Malthael doesn't work, and Ballistix just simply doesn't care about the solo matchup. In fact, they use Medivh as a roaming solo laner better than Zeratul was even played in the previous set. Sulligan cares about nothing. 4 levels up right now. Just walking back here.
If they take out Sonya and have even bring a Vala as a Q Vala to just take care of the camp, because Sonya basically is going around, was doing camp from the beginning of the game. They also have range damage. I think that's a lot more poke that and space they can work on.
Yeah, or trade Malthael for it. Either way, I think it's better. Curse is going to run out in 2 seconds before they kill this keep. Ancestral is good here onto Gamey, but Portal is going to allow everyone to get out here. A safe retreat. Magi doesn't take
storm
it.
Potential.
Oh!
He was baiting that from the beginning, and they're all in there.
So baited. You are absolutely right. Made it look like, oh, he messed up, didn't take the portal. Wrong. Even I believed it. I would have tried to kill him there. 5 dead, 10-23, 14 kills to 1. Outplayed indeed. 2 near-perfect games in this series. Ballistix showing us standard Heroes of the Storm play. Ace trying to reinvent the wheel, but it feels like the tires were square-shaped tonight. That car was not going anywhere. That's going to be the 3-0 victory for Ballistix.
That was a clean 3-0.
Put your glasses away. Didn't even need him to hit those leyline seals.
Jungle's like, feels good. I completed my quest at 6:30, and that was GG.
He's like, oh, I wanted to get it by like pre-5 minutes. I thought I was gonna set world record.
No way.
You guys didn't get me level 7 fast enough.
That's what he's like. Well, seemed like they were pretty chill about today. They should have been expecting their win, and Ace, they got a lot of work to do, but this is only the beginning for them.
A little bit worried was I after the second game where it was all silence. After game 1, we had there was a pretty good atmosphere. I felt a lot of discussion. And then we went down the double melee path into games 2 and games 3, and it seemed like the comms got a little bit quieter. Speaking of which, if you guys come down here to the VSL studio, you could just Google it. The address and everything is there. You can watch live in person. First time that's happened since OGN Super League in 2016. So you can come down here, watch the players live, hang out with other Heroes fans, and hear them shouting and shout calling because they're right in front of the stage.
Yeah.
So it's a very exciting thing that you can come down here and see.
If you understand Korean, you can actually hear them like shout calling out, like go here, let's do balls and all that. That's actually pretty fun to watch that you can never experience anywhere else. So, and you also get some points. You can also go to the Blizzard shop right after. There are some cool HGC jackets and power bank and all that.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
I know when Kalaris gets here, man, he's definitely going to come show up, man. I know. I bet Kalaris is going to come. I know Kalaris is coming to Korea soon. Like, he better show up here.
You spoiled it.
Well, I mean, I know he's coming to Korea. It was announced already. He's going to
Really?
host the Pyeongchang StarCraft event with IEM.
Oh man,
he's going to be here.
here.
Unless he's going to do it remotely somehow, hosting like Star Wars hologram. I know Claire's is coming here. If you're watching, Claire's, please come say hi. We'd love to have you here. So, anyways, we're going to jump to an interview pretty soon with our MVP. For me, MVP is easily either Jungha, his solo lane fantastic, or Hooligan. So. Clearly, they're going to be neither of them because that's whenever we choose MVPs, they never come true.
Maybe it's just SCE because we have not seen Tychus for such a long time, and he chose it twice today, and he was the one that went around trying to get some kills. I think SDE is also a good choice.
Anubrock has an 8-0 win rate globally now as well, with the 3 victories that Ballistix was able to pick up. Anubrock all 3 games. I think the ETC ban might have been a mistake, but either way, it would have been tough for the double melee comp against an ETC.
I think after watching all that drafting, I think they're still kind of stuck in the open division meta where they ban lots of BTC because they're scared when the Genji goes in power slide and Moshpit just locks Genji in just like that. But it's a different meta, different time, 2018, and the meta has shifted. They had the same time, but by practicing, by playing games with the top teams, they will climb higher every single time. And I would love to see them improve every single match. I think that's the idea here.
As someone who's always played competitive games, but was never like ever the top tier in any of the games I played, there's always a difference when you think you're really good, and then you play against a pro gamer for the first time. And when you're in open division, you're not really a pro gamer yet. You only become a pro gamer when you go into HGC, right? Because you're a professional player, gets paid salary, right? And I think that as their first opponent in HGC, sure, they played against HGC teams in relegation. Raven, I think, was actually their opponent, if I remember correctly. They did face a pro team, right? But it was a relegated pro team. Now they face a BlizzCon qualified team in 2017, BlizzCon champion of 2016. It's one of those memorable experiences that might make some players upset, might make some players pumped, but no one on Ace will forget what happened tonight. It'll be a very memorable moment to play in front of a crowd, get crushed by Ballistix, and I think they'll come back much stronger next time.
Yep, they should. And it was a 3-0. Clean victory for Ballistix. It should have been a good warm-up for them. Because next up, because they will be up against, I believe, Blossom. Oh, Feliz tomorrow, and then Blossom. So they have lots of room to actually warm themselves up in the meta, not really show too much before they actually verse some higher teams, stronger teams like Blossom, and then later Tempest, later Black. I believe that's at later in February sometime. So that's going to be one of the biggest matches. But after Black dropping a match against Tempest, I want to see Ballistix against Tempest a lot.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. Those top 3 teams always do not disappoint. And Blossom is another exciting one. They'll be playing later on tonight. A team that looks to replace Mighty's top 4 spot. So we're going to take a look at some of these highlights really quick before we jump into the interview. Divine Storm was used twice tonight. Divine Shield, of course, in game 2, so good plays by Moggy. Really nice dodging there by Ace, but it just doesn't matter. SC not saved there, but beyond that, these fights were just super one-sided. We're talking about level 4 level scaling in this fight where it looked like Rush might be able to do something, but not really.
Not just the 4 level scaling, when they were trying to start the fight, their front line was way too low with the HP. When they were trying to door toss in, it seemed like they were just having the shock call. Listen to the shock call, I just have to do it. I go in and I melt down instantly. There's no reason of going in if you're so low in HP. So rather, I think they have to be a little bit quicker in the shot calling. Let's dive in at the beginning before we get poked so hard from Hanzo all the time.
This is a fantastic showcasing of Ballistix there. Look at this scatter arrow. Woo! Showcasing of their mechanical skill. The Horrify on top of the Atum is such a cool combo because one of the thing about Horrify is you basically try to hit it at a good angle where you essentially stun and charm enemies towards your direction, only if you hit the right angle. But if you have Entomb, they can't really move, so you basically just have this insanely long AoE stun. And that's exactly what we saw in that last fight back there. Now we're just watching Medivh pop off. And it's time for the interview. So G-Clef, I'm going to let you translate with our MVP. O-Prime is asking the questions.
And I know who's next to him. It is Jungha from Ballistix. And this is the store that we were talking about.
오늘 사실 가장 주목이 됐었던 부분이 정석 선수.
Of course, when you're versing against your brother, Hero from Ace. I didn't really care about my brother. I just played my game. So it doesn't matter if your brother is playing on the other team or not.
원래 버스 타려고 했는데 동생이 있어서 그냥 두 명이니까 택시 타고 왔어요.
알겠습니다.
The only thing I did, I was trying to take a bus on the way to VSL, but because of I was coming with my brother, younger brother, I took the taxi here. That's all I have to say.
비법이 있나요?
대관 솔직히 아예 그렇게 신경을 쓰시진 않아도 되고.
How do you actually finish the master's touch so quickly? Is there a tip that you can give us? Well, really not. I don't think there's a big tip. Just not. If you don't lose it, if you don't die, I think that's the best way of just keeping that stack up and finishing it.
어제 첫 경기를 KSV랑 템페를 보니까 저희도 약간.
Well, after watching the KSP Black and Tempest, I think we were very excited and enthusiastic about to play them later. So we'll try our best and prepare our best for the stronger teams and have our best matches very soon.
Well, sounds like suddenly Korean in our ears, but it sounds like
Castro.
I'm like, it sounds like Castro, but I'm like, it sounds like my coffee's over here. I'm like, no one saw that. Okay. The marker is a little bit different for where my coffee is supposed to be today. Anyways, now that we got those technical difficulties aside, I'm just trying to buy some time before we go to commercial break. Yeah, seems like Ballistix on the right track. Jungha, good tip for getting your stacks, don't die.
Yes, that is the best tip.
And hope that your
Same
opponents...
for Kel'Thas for convection.
I hope that your opponents bum rush you 3-man in the top lane and don't pressure you, so you can just throw Qs at them while they wait behind the boss. He didn't say that, but we saw that. So that's just our first matchup of the night, guys. Our second matchup, of course, is going to be pretty good. It's going to be Blossom up against former MVP Miracle, now just known as Miracle. So we're going to have that in about 10 minutes time, guys. So stick around, maybe go get a coffee, get a snack, and we'll be back with that second match. Stay tuned.